Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am your host, John Rothman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. As I like to point out each and every day, it'll expand our base. I want to talk today about a martyr, an American martyr, Charlie Kirk. And it was fascinating for me last night to watch on Fox their hour-long tribute, an American original. Most Americans had never heard of Charlie Kirk before the assassination. Now, his name will be forever engraved in the annals of violence in American politics. Let me be clear, I did not agree with Charlie Kirk on many issues, but the simple truth is he was one person with a vision who moved to implement his vision, and he did. He impacted American politics profoundly. Particularly, I would suggest to you in the mobilization of younger people in the conservative movement, but also in his advocacy for J.D. Vance to be Vice President of the United States. J.D. Vance may yet be President of the United States, and there is no doubt that Charlie Kirk and his memory will be preserved because of that reaction and that reality. Now, let me be clear about something else. We are going to hear a lot of eulogies to Charlie Kirk, and of course, nobody criticizes a martyr. When you are dead, but remembered fondly, you can hardly be criticized for your stands. And yet we need to know that Charlie Kirk, aside from being an avid conservative, was also a born-again Christian who trumpeted as part of his political agenda his religious faith. There are many issues, and if we ticked off all the issues where Charlie Kirk took stands, we would find that, many of us disagree with him. But there is a simple reality that needs to be understood. Charlie Kirk's memory is going to inspire a new generation of activism. And there is another point. People are afraid. That's right. If you are afraid of speaking up, if you are afraid of speaking out, if you are an elected public official or a leader on behalf of a particular movement, you're going to get a lot of calls from people saying, be careful. Be careful of what you say. Be careful of your public visibility. And all of that is a sad reality to the death of Charlie Kirk. All of us must tremble at the thought that if you speak out, you may be attacked. And the number of threats being delivered to members of Congress, political leaders, and opinion makers in the United States of America today is very disturbing. I have functioned through most of my life never being afraid of speaking up or speaking out. Oh, it's true. I was threatened severely on KGO at one point, and police protection had to be provided for my children, my in-laws, for me. But that may be the price we pay for being in a highly visible society. When I say highly visible, I was on the radio, but let me tell you something. The internet, I believe, has a huge impact. And so now we are seeing a question posed by many. How active should you be? How visible should you be? Members of Congress, candidates for political office, whenever they hold a rally or an event, are going to stop and think, is this the right thing to do? And by the way, it's not just conservatives. It's liberals. Yes, that's right. When the President of the United States makes statements accusing the far left of being responsible for all of this, he'd better stop and think about the fact that it is not just conservatives who have been shot and murdered, liberals as well. This is a moment for reflection, but also a moment to remember that deifying a political leader because they're a martyr is something which happens left, right, and center. How many houses in America contained the portraits of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr. in the 1960s. They did it because we need heroes, and alive or dead, once you become a martyr, at least to a broad swath of Americans, you become someone special, and you need to be remembered. So we'll listen to the tributes to Charlie Kirk. We'll listen to the tributes that appear on radio and television. But let's take it all very carefully and realize that, well, I always remember Gabby Giffords. She lived, but she was shot because of her political views, and she was on the left. And you can go down the list of contemporary American political leaders, including the House Speaker and her husband living in Minnesota. We have seen this violence, and we must reject it as a people. But there's something else we have to reject. I was deeply disturbed this week to hear that UC Berkeley has given 160 names to the Justice Department of people who they view as being Jew haters. And that bothers me. It harks back to another era, the era of McCarthyism, when lists were assembled. And thank God in those days, we had political leaders here in California, including the then governor of California, Earl Warren, who simply said, no, we're not going to turn over names. We are going to control free speech in the best way we know how, letting it live. The idea that we now have to deal with the death of a Charlie Kirk or the turning over of lists here in California, 160 names, that to me is something I thought we'd gotten away from. So I wanted you to think this morning about what freedom means, what it means to all of us, because we are now in a battle for the question of freedom. And one other quick thought. When the President of the United States issues an ad hominem attack against anyone on the left, I think that's a dangerous thing as well. The danger of extremism, left and right, exists. The President of the United States should condemn extremism on all sides, and more than that, rather than attacking perceived enemies, the President of the United States should embrace the idea of bringing us together, of healing a nation's wound. I believe that with all my heart. Thank you for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts, sharing an episode with a friend or colleague so we can continue to grow and expand, which, of course, is our goal. You can interact with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, email, however you wish. But let me tell you, it helps me to hear from you, and I hear from so many of you. And to those of you I can't respond individually, thank you very much. And to Gogo's Ogre, an even bigger thank you, because she is the producer of this podcast and makes sure we're up and running every single day. Gogo, thank you for everything you do. This is John Rothman. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you then.